Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulihil Kareem. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're just waiting for people to join. Inshallah ta'ala, we will go live, and I hope that you can hear me and you can hear this session. So I'm going to perfect. I think the sound is working, so we do have progress. Um, let's see if there's any questions. We've had a few questions come through, but I will deal with them as we move on. As you can see, I have a runny nose. There's been the change in weather in the UK, as you know, changes quite a lot. So there's lots of change, which is not good for the body sometimes, especially if you're not truly used to the weather here. We had some cold weather, warm weather, cold weather. So we're in that period now where the weather's changing. So SN, SN, where are you based? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Only UK has this, as I've been told. Only UK is as volatile. Alhamdulillah. So it's been an on and off day at the moment, but it's been a very busy day. Lots of reading, lots of teaching. Finished Jum'ah. We had a bayan. I had to do a lecture. We talked about 22 benefits of taqwa. So I hope that will be available on YouTube for you to watch soon. Do watch that. It's from Imam Ghazali. May Allah be pleased with him. So we've had some questions. We had one interesting question, a very technical question from a fellow Muslim brother, which came through on the email. So please do email your questions in if you are able to do so beforehand. So the question was related to trading, quantitative trading permissible. So someone's investing in crypto app, that they buy cryptocurrency for a cheap rate and sell it on a different cryptocurrency platform for a higher rate and give you the profit. The risk is quite small in terms of loss, but the returns are decent. So I think there needs to be more research done on crypto. The verdict is out there. The general view among ulama at the moment is best to avoid. But I do know a lot of people are buying cryptocurrency. So I think more research needs to be done. I haven't really done research into it myself. I would defer to people like Mufti Liaqat Zaman or Mufti Faraz, the Muftiyani Kiram, or younger ulama who are more proficient in finance. And maybe we can ask them to give us some responses. Maybe one day we could have a YouTube lecture where we talk about cryptocurrency. Maybe we could do that actually. That's a good idea. So thanks to the brother, we might do that where we have opportunity for people to ask questions on cryptocurrency. So let's have a look. Insha'Allah ta'ala. So we're just waiting for more people to come, and they can all come with their questions and anything they want to talk about. I'm more than happy to do that. You can type your questions, the comment opportunity where you can post your questions, and I'd love to have a conversation with you on there. So please do post your questions, or you can just talk generally about advice. It doesn't have to necessarily be questions, but you can seek advice, seek views on things, anything that you're not quite clear on. You're more than happy. This is your opportunity. Usually I'm quite locked away, isolated on purpose, so I can do my work, so I can get on with my reading and writing, because as you know, when it comes to reading and writing, you need peace. You need to be in a quiet environment, and an environment where you can just get on with your work. Akbarian, mashallah, we have an Akbarian. You might need to tell us what that is. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have an Ibn Arabi Akbarian, I guess. So welcome. Lots of initials, lots of people don't put their names on. Sometimes they don't want to be known, but generally in our tradition, we should be known. For example, when people message me and they don't tell me who they are, or they tweet me on Twitter, I don't respond to them because I don't know who you are, and you know who I am, so I don't respond to people if they don't tell me who they are. I don't know who I'm dealing with, so I'm very careful. Generally, my view is that if you're really confident, you should just mention who you are. You should at least have a name so I can address you by your name. But nowadays, people like to have all of these names and labels. We're obsessed with identity. We don't want to identify ourselves, but we'll identify ourselves with other identities. Sometimes you can be very sectarian, divisive, but you should be confident in who you are as a believer. So I've not answered the question, but I've acknowledged that there was a question on cryptocurrency, and maybe we need someone to come on and explain cryptocurrency to us a little bit more. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Let's see. See if there's any more questions coming through. Oh, here's another one coming through. Where's it gone? So a few people have asked about university and going to university. And the reality is that whether you get a fatwa to go to university or not, people will still send their children to universities, and it's not always for religious reasons. Very few Muslims will send their child to university to become a Muslim or to learn about Islam. You don't go to university for that. So first and foremost, you need to know what motivates people to go to university. And the simple answer is usually to improve their living standards. And there is nothing wrong with that per se, to improve your financial circumstances. So going to university for that reason is not sinful or anything. Yes, there are always harms in going to universities, secular environment, but if you have ta'alluq, if you're connected to ulama, you're in the right circle, then you should be okay. University is a double-edged sword because some people go to university and they become, mashallah, very much more religious. Other people go to university and they completely get lost. Some people become religious and they become the wrong type of religious. They become very hardcore, very aggressive. A lot of our campuses have organizations which aren't really reflecting the tradition of Islam. They have a very simplified, appealing, mass appeal type of Islam, pop Islam, as I call it, or what my friend Sheikh Salim calls it, which is this idea of pop Islam, very popular type of Islam, which appeals to most people. But if you're really going to be serious about knowledge, then you need to study with ulama, you need to go to a madrasa, maybe go to Cambridge Muslim College, maybe go to Zaytun if you're in the States or wherever. Go to these places, go to a Darul Ulum, a seminary, maybe travel to the Muslim world. Maybe if you can't, where you are based, if you can go and meet with ulama, sit down with ulama and learn from them directly. But universities are interesting places. I've been to university myself. I work at a university as well. All I will say is that for a lot of people, it's more about just getting a degree and getting a job. So improving their financial circumstances, which to a certain extent is understandable. Not that I agree with it. It's understandable because most Muslims, at least in the UK, are from working class families, and so they want to improve their financial circumstances. And we don't want Muslims to live in poverty. We don't want Muslims to live in dire circumstances. We want Muslims to live comfortably, so they don't have to go begging out there and asking for money from people. So it's actually a good thing. Some people, a few go to university and they study further. They might do a PhD, they might specialize, they might become an academic, but that usually doesn't happen. What really should happen is you get a good university education, but you also get a very good dini or religious education. Ibn Arabi, the Akbarian school is Roshan of Ibn Arabi. Some lovely books. I think I mentioned this last week that you can read on this topic. And it comes to an important conversation around epistemology and knowledge, which we don't really have time to go into right now. So that's to do with university education. Some people have also asked about tariqa, Sufi tariqas. They are very, very useful, very, very important. They're part of what I call the trivium, if you like. So you need to have sound aqidah, which means that your understanding of your faith is correct. You need to have sound fiqh, tafaqquh, or practice or understanding of your faith. People should follow a school of law, a madhab, which gives you a methodology, a framework. And of course, when you get a bit more advanced, you kind of, you're kind of less restricted to one. But broadly speaking, you should try and follow a madhab as much as you can. So that's the second one. And the third one is a person should, not that they have to, but they should try and be involved in some sort of Sufi tariqah. They get bad names because of bad practices, and that's with every group. There's always extremes on each side. Some people just make it into a cult. But broadly speaking, following a tariqah is very, very useful and very, very important. Uh, yeah, so I did a video on the four deaths. I'll try and do more, inshallah ta'ala, if Allah wishes. Thank you so much for that motivation. Very much a misunderstood figure, both among Muslims and also non-Muslims. As you know, because of the secular bias, even when Muslims scholars or Muslim ideas are taught or studied, they usually try and remove the religious aspect. Okay, and they're trying to make it some sort of airy fairy religion or tasawwuf. But our ulama, all our mutasawwifin, scholars of Sufi, were scholars. They followed the madhab, they followed the school of theology, aqidah. They were all part of these traditions. So, but because they were geniuses, it's sometimes very, very difficult to pin them down, right? Because we're obsessed with identity today. So, when we think someone's Hanafi, we think that they have to be like pure Hanafi and against everybody else. No, somebody can follow broadly a school of Hanafism, but they might depart in certain ideas, and you'll find that in the books. They'll follow mainstream, but then they'll have their own personal views, which is fine for ulama, for people of knowledge. There might be scholars in Tasawwuf, Naqshbandi, or Chishti, or whatever else, and they might try something different. Doesn't matter. And the same thing in theology. They might be Maturidi, but they might take certain Ash'ari views. So these are things that are not really to divide us, but it actually shows the richness of our religion. There's a lovely book which I think people should read in English. It's called Life Worlds of Islam. Life Worlds of Islam, lovely book that just shows you, how Muslims are very open. Um, they um, they had an open sort of view on things. It's called Life Worlds of Islam, the Pragmatics of Religion. Worth reading it. I read this a few weeks ago when I was traveling. It was a very, very useful book. It's in English, and it's quite powerful. So gives you an understanding of the depth of our religion. Right. So that's the book that I suggest people should read. Um, it's not too academic, but you can follow it. So it's just right. At the moment, what I'm doing, no, there's more discussion. A book to read on this, Roshan, is a book by Samir Dajani. You should read it. I will give you the title of the book. You should get a copy of it. It was only published this year. And here you go. Sufis and the Sharia, the Forgotten School of Mercy. A beautiful book. I actually recommend people should read it. Sufis and the Sharia. See, when you come and talk to me, I'm going to give you things to read, right? Because we are meant to be people of ilm. So Sufis and Sharia, the Forgotten School of Mercy. Roshan, read that. You'll get a lot more insight into that. These are all historical academic conversations, so worth reading that. At the moment, I'm reading a number of books. I have a book chapter to write for Oxford University Press on Shah Waliullah Dehlavi. So I'm reading a number of books. One of them is this book it's called Islam Without Europe, Ahmad Dalal. You can see I've been making notes on it. There's a really old classical book which I found thanks to my friend Mawlana Hussein, Islamic Renaissance in South Asia. I'm also reading his book on the Muwatta of Imam Malik. So it's called Musawwa. Very, very nice book. And there's always a classic, which everybody should read, Baba Metcalfe's Islamic Revival in British India, Deoband. Some really interesting, good books. This one's really nice, Reform and Renewal in South Asian Islam by Mu'in Ahmad Nizami. And just in case you're interested in questions around salvation of people, in terms of what about people for whom Islam hasn't reached them? Someone living in Amazon jungle or these sort of places. So this is a good book, Between Heaven and Hell. and by Muhammad Hassan Khalil. And what he does is he looks at certain scholars to give you an understanding of this as well. So that's quite useful. There's also something from Shah Waliullah. I actually like this book better. Islam and the Fate of Others, right, the salvation question. So he looks at a number of people. As you can see, I've read the book and all my notes are there. So that's worth reading. Islam and the Fate of Others. And he looks at Ghazali, looks at Ibn Arabi, Ibn Taymiyyah, Rashid Rida, Shah Waliullah. So have a look at that if you get a chance. So those are, I hope to start writing a chapter for Oxford University Press on this. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm also working on a few other projects. What's this? Umar Pasha, this is just a conversation. You come here and we talk. We ask questions, we talk. A lot of people say I'm hard to reach. So we've set up this platform with some friends. So people can come and start asking questions or just find out what we're doing, or we can have conversations. So that's why it's about Umar Pasha. Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. So yeah, people are always welcome to come on. The quest, yeah, Red Sulfur, yeah. So that book's quite good as well. That book's available. Yeah, that's a decent book. That's a decent book. Thank you very much. Al Abbas has a question. How do you split your time for reading? I get a bit lost when trying to make a time for Hadith, Quran, let alone having time for literature reporting. I have time during the day where I don't have my phone with me and I segment my time. Usually, when I have an interesting question, I use that opportunity to research something. Something might come in my mind, and I end up exploring that, and I expand it's going down. So I don't have like I read Hadith this much or Quran this much, but if something comes to my mind, I usually end up doing research on it and writing notes on it. I do spend a lot of time reading the Quran, tafsir, Imam Razi's tafsir, Mafatihul Ghaib. So I've got it with me. I always have it in front of me, and I'm always making notes from. So I kind of like do a verse a day where I read through details of a verse a day. So that's always sitting on my computer, on my desk rather, and just reading a few ayats and stuff. So that's useful to do, Al Abbas, if that helps. Having questions, having ideas in your mind, writing them down. Always carry a notepad. Always carry a notepad. This one's got some stains on because I've been putting tea on it. But always carry a notepad. This is something that I'm looking at the moment in Nikah, Kitabun Nikah, some questions that I have in there. There's some notes that I made on the inimitability of the Quran, the ijaz of the Quran, i.e. the Quran's miraculous nature. Then my notes on Shah Waliullah that I'm writing at the moment. Hopefully I'll start writing all that up soon. So I have all my thoughts written down. This is like I met someone in London just a few days ago. So we had a conversation. We met in a coffee shop. And then I just basically made notes as soon as I left, just so I have things with me. So yeah, these are always notes. Always useful to have notes because I like to draw diagrams. I like to have things mapped out. So I'm always writing, scribbling notes down. Something interesting comes to my mind, I'll scribble it down. I do date it all as well, so I know. So maybe when my child or my daughter picks it up, she can carry on the project if I don't live long enough. So those are practical tips, my friends, to help you along. Urdu, English, Gujarati, my mother tongue. I used to know French, but I got lazy and I forgot about it. There's a joke about there's nothing good comes out of France, especially at the moment with bedbugs. Urdu, Arabic, bit of Persian, Arabic, of course, Urdu. So yeah, those are the main language, Islamic languages as they call them. I wish I could learn more. I want to learn German. My wife knows German, but fortunately, I haven't had time to learn that language. But there's so many languages I want to learn. More languages you know, the better. It opens your mind up to different worldviews. So yeah, I like the fact that Al Abbas reads poetry. So it's important to have time for literature. With my daughter, with my daughter, I'm reading um, I'm reading the book by Ibn Battuta. So Ibn Battuta, there's a book by Ibn Battuta, and it's a really good book. She's only 9, so she's quite young. But I recommend people read that children. It's a wonderful book. I'll try and send you, yeah, like just read the Travels of Ibn Battuta. Wonderful book, and here's a reference to it. Yeah, so with my daughter, we're reading this one, Travels of Ibn Battuta. Really enjoyable book. Really enjoying that with my daughter. It's a long book. The English is really good. The translation, the particular translation we have, is very good. So she gets to see Islamic history, because last time somebody asked about Islamic history and Islamic culture. How do we make sure that we are literate? We know the Islamic tradition. We know its history. We know the culture of how Muslims live. So these sort of books are very. Hi Ibn Yaqzan. Yes, I have Masir. Hi Ibn Yaqzan from Andalusia. That's a very good book as well. Very philosophical, worth reading. That it's been translated, I believe, as well. Um, Again, part of our tradition. One should read it. Um, with my daughter, my other daughter, Khadija, um, I've been reading Dr. Seuss's book, which is Horton Hears a Who. It's actually very good, and there's lots of benefits in that book about Horton Hears a Who. So um, I'm gonna share it with you. But there's lots of benefits in reading Horton Hears a Who, and don't rush that book. Read it with your children. Here's like some of the benefits of it. But I would recommend that people read that book too. Um, don't watch the movie Masir. Yeah, Rob. Masir, do not watch movies. Read books. Stir your imagination. Stir your curiosity. That's what books do. TV is like the worst thing you could do, Habibi. Yani, you just like taking in, like, there's nothing active. Read books. So, Masir, if you take anything from me, read books. You'll enjoy life more as well. Critical X. Yeah, Rob. Salam Sheikh. I was wondering about how one should cultivate shukr. Every time I think about God's blessing, I think about the suffering. So there's one thing. One is just to be grateful for what you have. Um, and how do you create shukr? Think about everything Allah has given to you. Separate it from what other people don't have, because we don't really know the reality of them. So we should be careful about making judgments about God or whatever on other people's calamities. But we should be grateful that we're not being tested with what they tested, what they are testing with. So um, more focus on ourselves in that sense. So I hope that helps. How can I reconcile my blessing with suffering and the suffering of others? Just like that, I have been nagged by the thought of them saying, okay. So this is a good question. Suffering of others, we see it as suffering from our perspective, but we don't really know the haqiqah. It might be a good thing for that person in the end. So it's suffering to us, but we say, zahiran, it looks like a suffering, but in Allah, we don't know. Somebody might see you and they see you as suffering, but you might be in bliss. So we should always be in a state of shukr. And we see someone in difficulty, from our perspective, we make dua for them. Allah make it easy for them. We should be grateful that Allah hasn't tested in the same way. Umar is from Ethiopia. Ahlan wa sahlan. I was reading and learning Salafi ideologies, and I was a Sufi phobe. Come and sit with me, Umar. Uh, you will not learn much from Salafi ideologies. You will become an angry, vicious person, but you will eventually get burnout. Come and sit with ulama, sit with people of knowledge, learn real knowledge. I don't really have a book. I always say to people, just sit with ulama, like start with ulama, sit with ulama, come and visit them, get in touch with them. Allah help you, Umar. Allah make it easy for you. I have seen many people go through these things and come out really, really rotten on the other side. But alhamdulillah, we've managed to nurture them back. Alhamdulillah. Books, say with ulama, they'll get a book club going. Yeah, you'll turn into a takfiri machine. I think you meant takfiri Akbarian, right? Yeah, basically, when you go down that route, everyone's sinful, everyone's guilty, everyone's bad, and you just judge everyone, right? You just see everyone as immoral, and it's a very unhealthy situation to be in. That's not the way of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ironically, that's not the way of the Salaf. I would recommend Degrees of the Soul too. Um, so, look, we follow the Salaf. In my law, legal interpretation, I follow the Hanafi Mazhab, but I also read books of Hadith. I also do zikr. I also sit mashayikh. I also follow tariqah. But I don't make it into a big deal. I don't, I'm not cultish in it. Um, I read Western literature. I read Muslim literature. I read Arabic, Urdu. I read everything under the sun. We should be confident in our knowledge. We shouldn't be scared. We should know that certain things, certain knowledge comes with certain challenges. We should be confident now. Yeah. Which book is this? Degrees of the Soul, Al Abbas. Can you just give the title for it, please, my friend, if you don't mind? So others can benefit. I will only recommend books that I've read. If I haven't read something, um, I won't recommend it unless someone very close to me or someone that I rate recommends it, and I will suggest it. Because my nature is to read things for myself, and you come to your own conclusions. So I've shared quite a lot of literature and resources today. I'm trying to find something else that I'm reading at the moment. But yeah, these books are important. It's Friday as well, zikr, durood upon the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We should invoke blessings upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's a lovely book by Mawlana Sheikh Zakaria rahmatullahi alayh. If you get this, it's in Arabic, about the virtues of salat and salam upon the Khairul Anam, upon the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm reading at the moment. It's beautiful, beautiful book, wonderful book. Just makes you fall in love with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There you go. The Degrees of the Soul, Sheikh Abdul Khaliq Shawrawi. Okay, so there's a book that's been mentioned. You'll have to send me a copy of that, Bas, so I can read it myself. So read, like, understand that Islam is very wide. We have differences, different approaches, but they're all valid. Unless someone does something that's completely outrageous. So even within Tasawwuf, you have different groups. That's fine. We're happy with that. Even within fiqh, we have different groups. In Aqidah, we have schools. Fine, we can live with that. What we don't do is start killing people, attacking people, right, based on our superficial reading. Have deep understanding of religion. I studied Alimiya from Malak. Are you doing something with me, Umar? I'm not sure. But I know you're doing. I know I have started a few courses on Al Balagh. I do teach for Al Balagh. Books are very useful, by the way, friends. Look, books. I know I recommend reading books all the time, but nothing replaces also sitting with pious people, good people. Sit with ulama, sit with people of knowledge, sit with people of taqwa, sit with people of learning. When you sit with them, you'll learn so much. You'll come out with different perspectives, right? Don't sit in echo chambers where you just hear the same stuff time and time again. Sit with people who actually challenge you, make you think outside of the box, give you strength in your faith. If they're shouting and screaming all the time, attacking other people, refuting other people, bad mouthing, then that's not really the prophetic way. That's not the way of the Prophet ﷺ. So sit with ulama who guide you. MashaAllah, beautiful. Shazili and Naqshbandi tariqah. They're all beautiful tariqahs. And if you had a long life, you would join all of them. So we're happy with all of this. We don't have an issue. We shouldn't be like, we should feel comfortable with brothers and sisters following different things as Muslims. We're happy with it. As long as no one's doing anything that's outright kufr. And one of my videos, I think you've seen on YouTube, where I talk about Imam Abu Hanifa, where he went out of his way to not make someone a kafir. So think about today how some people behave where they want to make people kufr. They want to do takfir. It's not the way. We do have a WhatsApp channel, by the way, friends. Please do join the WhatsApp channel where we share content. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, make comments, and um, put things on there, share it with friends, get people to join up. That's how we can, we can reach a wider audience. Allah knows best. But we're about ilm. Remember, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ask us to ask increase in? Is ilm. Allah says in the Quran, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. Oh Allah, increase me in knowledge, in ilm. So we should always be learning knowledge all the time, constantly learning knowledge and not giving up. Okay. Do we have any more questions? Yeah, I mean, someone's asked me here. My main way of putting things out there is on Twitter. So I do have a Twitter. I don't even think it's called Twitter anymore. It's called something else. But if you just search my name, Haroon Sidat, you'll find it on way. That's my main way of reaching out to people. So you'll find me. This is my Twitter handle. That's the main place I post things on Twitter. I don't really teach online. When I do teach, I usually ask people to get a group of students together. If there's enough students, there's enough interest, and we can usually study a text or something together. So if some brothers come to me and say, "We want to study something from Ghazali or Shah Waliullah or whoever," then we can create a group where once a week we meet and we can study some text. How do I learn Arabic from start? Well, first you need to be able to read Arabic. Once you can read Arabic, enroll on an Arabic course. Make sure you join a really good one, though. Really important. Amount of times people spend years and years learning Arabic and they haven't moved very far, right? Find a solid Arabic course. Ask around. Tell people. Join a really solid Arabic course, because in 2 years, if it's a good, one of the ways I say a good course is that in 2 years you should be able to pretty much get involved in the Quran. You should be able to try and understand and translate the Quran. 2 years. If you're doing it for years and years and years and years and you're still like not, then there's something going wrong there. But learn Arabic, definitely, absolutely learn Arabic. You can't become a scholar or someone who's serious in Islam without Arabic. I'd recommend mine, but I don't know if you're local to me. But I don't teach online Arabic. I teach on Arabic on site. People have to come and visit me because I'm very strict about how I teach Arabic. Tamam. We did say half an hour, but if anyone has any more burning questions, we can take them. Otherwise, we will end. And I look forward to seeing you all next week, if Allah wills. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. You can reach out to me. Twitter is one way you can reach out to me. You can email me. I'm happy to try. Not promise I can, but I'm happy to try and help you out in whatever way we can. Remember, it's about knowledge. We're about academic pursuits. We're about truth. We're about exploring our religion, strengthening our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I will be coming to America in a few weeks' time, Chicago and San Antonio. So if you're around there, I look forward to seeing you, hearing you from you there. And then in Christmas holidays, I'll be in the Middle East. So maybe I'll see some of you then. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful week or weekend. And I will see you next time. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah. Wa iyyak. Barakallah feek.